Another benefit of music education: improved ability to spot fake AI images. This image recently showed up in my Facebook feed. At first it appeared to be a restored photo of Frank Zappa and Captain Beefheart in the recording studio. Except, it wasn't restored, it was AI enhanced. Fortunately, someone in the comments knew the actual black and white photo this image was based on and posted it, so I can compare the two. Most of the commenters were focused on Frank Zappa's weird guitar, but my eyes immediately went to that woodwind instrument Beefheart is holding. Now, most of my videos on this channel are about the electric bass, but I also play clarinet and saxophone. I've been playing clarinet since I was 11 years old. This instrument is confusing. The keywork on it is unmistakably clarinet-like, not saxophone-like, although some of it does seem a bit off. How can I tell? Mainly by the stuff at the bottom. The open rings exist on a clarinet, but not on a saxophone. And on a saxophone, even a soprano sax, the pads at the bottom are much larger than the ones on a clarinet. These pads are clarinet-sized. It's hard to look at an image of what appears to be a clarinet and identify wrong keywork, though. First, because there are two completely different key systems on modern clarinets. The French system, which is what we mostly use in the US, and the German system, which is a bit closer to a saxophone, especially the pinky keys. Second, clarinet keywork is constantly evolving. A new clarinet in 2026 may look quite a bit different from one made in the 1960s. If this clarinet appears to be missing a few keys, that might just mean it's old, not fake. So even though the keys do look a little weird to me, I couldn't definitively say it's fake by the keywork alone, although that one open hole just below his hand looks a bit distorted. There's one major difference between a clarinet and a soprano sax that's easy to spot. Aside from the fact that clarinets are usually black wood or plastic and saxophones are metal, typically brass with gold lacquer. It's the shape of the bore, i.e. the tube. Clarinets have a cylindrical bore. They're basically the same diameter from the end of the mouthpiece to the flare of the bell. Saxophones have a conical bore. They start off really narrow at the mouthpiece and gradually get wider along the entire length of the body. It's a little hard to see if this instrument is cylindrical or conical, but I can say for sure that the diameter up by the mouthpiece is way too small to be a clarinet, unless it's a metal clarinet. Yes, they exist. I have one in the background of most of my videos. Metal clarinets were common in the first half of the 20th century, but fell out of favor by the 1970s as ABS resin, i.e. plastic, clarinets became the norm for student-grade instruments. So Beefheart absolutely could have been holding a metal clarinet. Their inner bore is the same diameter as a wood or plastic clarinet, but they look a lot skinnier because the material is so much thinner. But this instrument still looks conical, and I don't think I've ever seen a metal clarinet painted black. On top of that, I'm not really aware of Captain Beefheart ever playing a soprano clarinet. I think the only instrument he could truly play was harmonica, but that didn't stop him from wailing wildly on a soprano sax or a bass clarinet. But those two specifically, soprano sax and bass clarinet, are the only woodwinds I'm aware of him having played on a regular basis. The verdict? There's just no way this is a real instrument he's holding. It's AI. For most musically inclined viewers, the issues with Zappa's guitar are probably more obvious. The weird generic headstock with a mangled logo decal, the confused body shape, etc. But if you know woodwinds, Beefheart's Uncanny, Unholy, Clari-Sax is the most obvious indicator that all is not right with this photo. And so, in this era of rampant AI deepfakes, when it's becoming increasingly difficult to trust what we see, music education provides yet another benefit to those of us who've been lucky enough to receive it: an easy way to spot AI slop. Before I go, a side note I didn't really pick up on until I overlaid the two images and started fading between them for this video. The clothes are kind of a giveaway too. The fact that clothes were weird in the late 60s and early 70s makes what we see in the AI version not immediately jump out as nonsense, but then I took a closer look at that monstrosity Beefheart has around his neck. The AI hallucinations really turned into a bad trip, with what is actually a loud necktie under a beaded necklace. The necklace itself is not a bad interpretation, but the necktie is an absolute disaster. The bandana Zappa's wearing also gets a bit mangled, and if you look at the guy on the right, who I believe is Ian Underwood, the AI seems to have had a hard time distinguishing between his shirt and his jacket. Then there's the guy just behind Frank. His face is pixelated out in the original photo. I'm not sure if the AI was working from the version of the photo with his face obscured or the original, but I'm guessing it's just an invented new composite face for the guy. I don't know why it turned his white t-shirt dark blue though. Then again, the wood paneling, the reel-to-reel deck, and the microphones are also pure AI invention, so maybe it was just having some fun. In the spirit of not so fun, it's also removed whatever Beefheart was smoking. When was this photo taken? Judging by the clothes and my knowledge of when Zappa and Beefheart would have been working together, I guessed it was from around the era of Zappa's Hot Rats album. I uploaded the original photo into a Google search, and it, via AI, determined that the photo was taken backstage at the Aquarius Theater in Los Angeles on March 31st, 1969. The photo was taken by R. Michael DeShellis, a photographer who has quite a gallery of famous musicians of that era. I've put a link to his website in the description. So, have you spotted any other details in this image that are telltale signs of AI? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.